Stative verbs are fascinating because they describe states or situations that are unlikely to change. Unlike dynamic verbs, which indicate actions or processes, stative verbs focus on what is rather than what happens. For instance, when I say I know the answer, I'm expressing a state of knowledge. But if I were to say I'm knowing the answer, that would be incorrect because stative verbs typically don't appear in continuous tenses. Let's break it down further. Stative verbs often relate to thoughts and opinions, feelings and emotions, senses and perceptions, and possession. Think about verbs like believe, love, feel, and own. These verbs describe a condition rather than an action. For example, this cake smells delicious uses smells as a stative verb, indicating a state of perception rather than an action. Now, some stative verbs can also be transitive, meaning they can take a direct object. For example, I love that movie clearly shows my feelings towards the movie. On the other hand, intransitive stative verbs don't take a direct object. When I say Cheryl was here, it simply states a fact without needing anything else. It's crucial to distinguish stative verbs from action verbs. Action verbs describe what someone is doing, like run or think. For example, I'm thinking about dinner uses thinking as an action, while I think it's a good idea uses think as a stative verb, expressing an opinion. The key difference lies in the verb tense. Stative verbs are never used in continuous forms, while action verbs can be. Some verbs can switch between being stative and dynamic, depending on the context. Take see, for instance. In I don't see any problem with that, it's a stative verb expressing an opinion. But in they've been seeing each other for a month now, it's dynamic, indicating an ongoing action. Another example is have. When I say I have an old car, it indicates possession, a state. But if I say I'm having a quick break, it's an action referring to the activity of taking a break. Similarly, be can be stative, as in, he's so interesting, or dynamic, as in, he's being very unhelpful, where it describes a temporary behavior. To help memorize the difference, think of the categories stative verbs fall into: thoughts and opinions, feelings, senses, and possession. If a verb expresses a state of being or condition, it's likely stative. If it describes an action or process, it's dynamic. Understanding this distinction can enhance your language skills and make your communication clearer. So, next time you're speaking or writing, pay attention to the verbs you use. Are they expressing a state or an action? This awareness will help you use stative verbs correctly and effectively.